You know, every single successful YouTube channel you watch, it started as just an idea. And more often than not, that idea was absolutely paralyzed by fear. That's what YouTube Secrets is really all about. It's not just some technical manual for hacking the algorithm. No, it's more like a psychological blueprint for overcoming the one thing that stops almost everyone, just getting started.
And this quote, this is really the heart of the entire book. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I mean, think about that. It's a direct challenge to that voice in our heads, right? The one that tells us we're not ready, that everything has to be perfect. The book makes it so clear. The biggest gap between your passion and a successful channel, it isn't your talent, it's not your camera. It's just making that simple, terrifying, but totally transformative decision to begin.
All right, so here's the roadmap we're going to follow, straight from the book. First, we'll tackle that starting line fear. Then, we'll dive into the 3 pillars of success. After that, it's all about the value creation engine, what your content is actually for. Then we'll cover building your digital home, and finally, we'll wrap up with the creator's action plan. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, the starting line fear. This is really about understanding that very first obstacle. Because let's be honest, every creator's journey starts in the exact same place, with this powerful, totally universal feeling of fear. And the book is so good on this point. It says this is not a sign of weakness. It's actually the price of admission. It means you're about to create something that actually matters to you.
The book has this incredible metaphor. It says every creator is standing at the edge of the same diving board. Your heart's racing, you're gripped by the fear of the unknown. Just picture it. You're standing up there looking down at that water. You have no idea how cold it's going to be or what will happen when you hit it. That feeling right there, that's the first great challenge. And the book's point is that just making the leap, just deciding to jump, that's your first victory.
So, if you're gonna make that jump, you need a solid foundation, right? But here's the thing. This foundation has nothing to do with expensive gear or fancy software. Nope. It's built on 3 core mental models, 3 pillars that support every single successful creator's journey.
The first pillar is courage. And I want you to really pay attention to this definition because it's so important. It's not about being fearless. It's the exact opposite. It's about feeling all that fear, the fear of being criticized, the fear of failing, the fear of not being perfect, and hitting that record button anyway. That's courage. And this quote from the book just nails it. The only way to overcome all those initial fears and anxieties is to go through it. You see, fear is just an emotion, but taking action, that's a choice. You can't sit around and think your way out of the anxiety. The only cure for the fear of starting is to actually start. Okay, so pillar number 2 is clarity. And this is what gives all that courage a direction. I love this analogy. If courage is the fuel in the tank, clarity is the GPS. It's about having the discipline to ask yourself the hard questions before you start. Questions like, who am I actually trying to reach with this? What value am I providing them? And what's the end game here? Where's this whole thing going? Because without that clarity, you're just driving around aimlessly, burning fuel. But with it, you have a roadmap. It means every video you make, every title you brainstorm, every thumbnail you design, it's all done with purpose. It's all moving you one step closer to your destination. And that brings us to the third and final pillar, consistency. This is the engine that actually drives you forward. It's not glamorous, but it's everything. It's that simple, non-negotiable promise you make to yourself and your audience that you're going to show up regularly. It's how a hobby becomes something real, and it's how you build trust, which is what the algorithm and, more importantly, real human beings are looking for. Think about it like this, and the book puts it perfectly. You never know which video might be the video that opens up the door to success. Every time you upload, you're buying a lottery ticket. Yeah, most of them won't be the big winner, but you have to keep playing. You have to keep showing up, because you genuinely never know which upload is going to be the one that catches fire and changes everything. Now, of course, there are these big myths that try to knock these pillars down. The first one is a classic. I just don't have enough time. Sound familiar? Well, the book argues it's not about having time. It's about making time. It's about finding just a few hours each week and making that commitment to your channel completely non-negotiable. And here's the other big one, the one that can be truly crippling. Somebody else is already doing my idea. You see someone succeeding and you think, well, that ship has sailed. But the book does this brilliant reversal. It says competition isn't a bad thing. It's proof of concept. It means there's an audience that's hungry for that topic. All it proves is that a market exists, and that market is waiting to hear your unique take on it. Okay,
So you've got the mindset down, but what do you actually make? This is where we get to the absolute core of your channel, your content. The book calls this the value creation engine.
The idea is that every single successful video provides some kind of value to the viewer. And the book breaks it down into 5 main types. You can provide news and information, you can entertain people, you can educate them, you can inspire and motivate them, or you can create a sense of connection and community. Now, your videos don't have to do all of these things at once, but they have to consciously deliver on at least one of them. That's the promise you're making to someone in exchange for their time.
So this really becomes the most important question for you to answer. What kind of value are you going to provide? Are you a teacher? Are you here to make people laugh? To motivate them? To bring people together? Figuring this out, your core value, that's the foundation of your entire channel.
And once you have that value, you need to get it out there. I love this quote from the book, "Content is fire and social media is gasoline." It's so true. Creating great, valuable content, that's the fire. But it's only half the job. You need a way to spread it, and that's where social media comes in. It's the gasoline you pour in the fire to make it grow.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks here. Let's talk about building your digital home. Before you can start inviting people in, you have to build the house, right? Your YouTube channel page is exactly that. It's your home online. And you know what they say about first impressions?
Think about this. A potential subscriber will likely decide whether or not to stick around within the first 5 seconds of landing on your channel. That's it. So your channel name needs to be memorable. Your avatar needs to be eye-catching. And that cover art, your banner, is absolutely crucial. It needs to tell people who you are and what you're about instantly. You have to nail that first impression.
Okay, we've talked about mindset. We've talked about strategy. Now for the fun part. Let's pull this all together and turn it into a real, actionable plan that you can literally start using today.
Everyone's obsessed with the algorithm, right? Trying to hack it, trying to figure it out. Well, the book says to forget all that. The real algorithm for success is much simpler. It's the CQC formula. Consistent, quality, content. That's it. That's the whole secret. Just show up on a regular basis with content that genuinely provides value. Now, this next point is a huge mental shift, and it's so freeing. The book argues you should stop chasing millions of subscribers. That's not the goal. The real goal is sustainability. And for that, you don't need millions of viewers. You just need 1,000 true fans, a core group of people who truly connect with your work and will support you. It's so much more achievable, so much more meaningful. It's about building a real community, not just a big, anonymous audience.
So how do you actually make consistent quality content happen? You need a system. This checklist from the book is basically a professional workflow. It turns what can be a really chaotic, stressful process into something manageable. You block your time, you research your ideas, you outline, you follow the steps. This is what removes the friction and makes it possible to show up again and again and again.
And in the end, after all the strategies and all the secrets, the entire book really boils down to this one final powerful idea. The distance between your dream and reality is called action. You can have the best idea, the most passion, but without execution, it stays a dream. The only thing standing between you and that reality you want is your decision to act.